Previous presenter already showed you how much vulnerabilities could be there in an application. I won't try to scare you about how much are we are scared already, I believe, in this morning, and we know that there are a lot of to be scared. I will try to scare you not about the problems, but about the testing. As a question I just asked previous presenter, how much he thinks he have tested, how much he thinks he have found, how much problems. I'm sure not all of them. Let me quote something. Organizations will increasingly recognize that it is not possible to provide a 100% secure environment. Once organizations acknowledge that, they can begin to apply more sophisticated risk assessment and mitigation tools. Where do you think it comes from? Let me quote it, read it again. Organizations will increasingly recognize that it is not possible to provide 100% secure environment. Organizations acknowledge that and begin to apply more sophisticated risk assessment and mitigation tools. Well, we heard about mitigation tools and assessment tools already today in different sessions. I found this a year ago in Gartner's analytics, which was about industry, IT industry in general, not about security, by the way. But we will get to that. It's about myself, just for you to understand that I've been doing functional testing before I started security testing. I've not been a hacker before that. But I would like to share my functional tester's experience with you, well, or at least to somehow tell what I have learned or what I would like to learn from functional testing, because functional testing is actually a little bit more mature than security testing. But just to understand who are here in this room, who haven't seen this picture? Raise your hand. Who haven't seen? Who have seen? Sorry, who have not seen this picture? Okay. So you are probably, I will try to describe you a little bit about these pictures. Those are the most important part of this picture for me as a security tester who is doing security testing inside the organization. When I have been doing functional testing, more of the problems, more of the bugs comes because there are different views of what we need to build. It's not just a mistake we do while programming. It's just because we don't understand how to be programmed. And just the same happens with security sometimes. But let me first try to explain how functionally we address this problem. In functional testing, we do 4 different levels of testing. Well, sometimes more, sometimes less. But the basic thing is that there are developer testing, developer who develops code, do the testing. Then there is a tester who tests the same code once again. Well, they do a little bit different testing. They do more end-to-end testing, while developers are doing more code testing, etc. But those things overlap. They do the same thing again. And then users come in and do the same thing once again. They do user acceptance testing. Why do we do the same things 3 times? Well, they don't overlap exactly. There are things that users will test because they know, well, if we go back to that picture, they know what they need. We don't. So there are different test levels in functional testing. Why? Because bugs tend to escape testing. We test, but we can't find all the bugs. Well, actually, we can't find them because, well, because we make mistakes, there are not enough time, changes, and well, we don't have enough skills. Some people think that functional testing is very easy. Well, do you think it's easy to do functional testing? Anyone could do functional testing, yes, no? Who thinks it's easier than development? Anyone? I think it's easier than development. But it's not just as easy as it may look like. Let me show you something. It may look like easy. Yes, I just grab my nose and grab my ear and I will switch. And I will switch again. It's easy, isn't it? But please try to do it with me. Take your right hand, well, your right hand. This is my right hand, this is your right hand. Take your right hand and take your nose. Please do it. And your other hand and take your ear. And now let's just try to switch them. Okay, it's not as easy as it may look like. Well, switch again. And switch again, and switch again, and switch again, and switch again. With a skill, it's easy with a practice and with a skill, but it may look like a little bit easier than it is. And that's why developers may think that testing is easy and they make a lot of mistakes. So their testing is not as whole as I showed it previously. It's like cheese with a lot of holes in that testing. And through those holes, bugs escape. We have another cheese and another cheese, and those overlap allows to cover more, to achieve better coverage. Coverage is something very important in functional testing, because we understand that functional testing only reduces number of bugs in production. It does not eliminate all of them. Passing security testing is not an indication that no flaws exist. That's I found in one of the definitions of security testing, but not everyone understands that. Not everyone agrees on that. I've seen state and government applications. Actually, when you develop application for state or government, they demand you to do security testing. Other companies to do security testing, they in tenders they say like, ensure applications do not process injected SQL statements. Ensure that applications are 100% secure against SQL statement injections. It is not possible to ensure that. No tests will, no passing security test is indications that it is ensured. We just reduced probabilities that there are some bugs. That's why in functional testing, our only standard tells how the documentation should look like. There is no standard about how much testing should be done. How much testing should be done is part of test strategy, part of test plan. It's something for every single project we have, for every single application we start testing, that's the first question we have to ask ourselves. Even before we start testing, we ask ourselves, how much we will be testing it? How much will be enough? We are asking the same question again and again through the project lifecycle. There is OWASP testing standard that says how much testing is enough. Well, it doesn't say how much is enough. It says that's the standard level 1, level 2, level 3. If you do this much testing, then you are certified against level 3 or level 2 testing, etc. Well, the good thing is there are guidelines that allows you to choose which things you want to test. There are about 100 different attacks. Each attack has a lot of different a lot of different ways to do that attack. Let me just share with you one story. I've been trying to teach one guy security testing, and I found one vulnerability in our application, and I told him there is a XSS. Previously, you saw what an XSS attack is. Yes, so I said to him, there is an XSS attack on this particular field in this particular web form. Just try to discover that particular attack. he was trying to find it for 2 days. So it was amazing how much tests he have done. He have found a lot of information on internet about what are the different attacks he could do, but he failed to discover that problem. Well, it took for me 2 hours actually, which is also much more than I would typically spend on a typical web application. And probably automation is an answer to that. Maybe we just need to take an automated scanner tool and it will do testing for us. Again, some experience from functional testing. We have the recent movement in functional testing. We are talking about that there are some automated testing. We don't call that automated testing a testing anymore. We call it automated checks. We check automatically, but when a human does testing, we say it's testing. It's sapient testing, and there is automated checks. So I would like to tell the same about automated security test tools. They are automated security check tools. They only check if application is vulnerable to attacks they know about, they know how they have seen previously, and which are not very hard to automate. I know that most of those automated tools are very, very good at discovering reflected XSS attacks, but they are quite weak for stored XSS attacks just because they are harder to discover automatically. That's my experience. So if we don't know how much, if we want to answer the question how much testing is enough, if we want to do some assessment and discover what should we do. That was my question. When I started security testing career, I was asking myself, well, so if I can't spend months to test this application, I have only a few days. How do I know what I start with? I have found this dread analysis methodology that says how to prioritize things. It only says how to prioritize the bugs that you have already found, the vulnerabilities you have already found. It does not tell you how to how to prioritize your testing. So it just assumes that you already have found all the security issues in your application. It does not answer that question, and well, I will skip this one. It was another story from functional testing, but one of the before I move on to the next slides, I want to describe my experience a little bit more in details. Sorry for that. So my experience is more application security testing. It's web application security testing. I haven't been doing a lot of perimeter security testing. What's the difference? I'm testing the code. I'm not testing the network. I'm testing the threats. I'm not testing the attack vectors. And I'm doing internal testing. And by the way, this application versus perimeter defense comes from PCI standard. That was the only source I found this differentiation, which I've made for myself. I said, this is because I didn't have enough time. I wanted to answer the question, how much testing is enough? And I told myself, because we are developing code, I will be testing the code. So that's my primary target. Yes. And I found actually on OWASP an answer to my question, how much testing is enough, how could I prioritize my testing? It's called application threat modeling. It's as described by OWASP, it's a way for developers to analyze what are potential dangers to their application and how to come up with countermeasures, how they know what are the code they how to build in the application that would protect application from attackers. So we are sitting down with developers. They would describe me countermeasures, and then I know what how to test. I how to test the countermeasures. I don't how to test whole application. I just test the countermeasures. And if I could find problems in their countermeasures, then that means they have been doing not enough. Well, I have found a problem. And if there are no countermeasures, then I don't need to test, because we already know it's vulnerable, right? Another experience about mitigations. We have been. I've heard some presentations about monitoring and resilience, etc. How do we do it in performance testing, in performance, with performance? I've been doing performance testing quite a lot, and I know that there are tools that are doing monitoring of resource utilization, response time utilization, etc. And we could do this monitoring, and when we see, we could see that our disk space is running out, or we are running out CPU, and we could add more CPU, especially if we are in the cloud. But and just the same way, we could analyze some security attacks there. And monitoring security attacks is more important than monitoring functional functional problems, because if user discovers functional bug, then the user will be reporting that bug to us. If a user, or actually hacker, discovers a security bug, he will not report it. Yes, he will just use it. And so if there is a missed bug, it means that someone will probably install it. Well, the only exception is DOS attack. If there is a DOS attack, you know immediately that there is a DOS attack, because your system just died. But if there is an attack, it may be that a user has stolen your password or something, but do not steal from you anything yet. He just waits for your account, for more money to come to your account, or more data or more access to be given to your account, etc. When we are talking about backdoors, there are those application code backdoors when someone puts a spyware or some special applications there. But there is another type of backdoors. The backdoors that a hacker has stolen your password, and he has this password, but he does not use it yet. That's also a backdoor. And what do you do about the backdoor? Yes, so that's why we are changing the password quite often, or at least those who knows why we should do it. Or in an application I was testing 15 years ago, when I was doing just functional testing. I didn't know anything about security. When I logged in that application, I was quite surprised. Why that application shows to me, hello, your last login was yesterday at 11 o'clock. We are happy you are back online today. So if I would be a user who sees this message, and I know that I didn't log in yesterday, what does it mean? Someone has stolen my password. I need to quickly change my password, and I'm becoming the mitigation. If I'm a user who doesn't understand how to read that message and doesn't understand how to react on that message, I'm the mitigation as a user. So a few more recommendations, a few ideas that as a tester who understands that I can't test everything, I could recommend different ways to improve security other than testing your application, discovering and removing problems from that application. Analysis of discovered vulnerabilities. It's actually, if you do the testing, if you either hire someone like the previous speaker to do security testing for your company, or you have in-house security tester, or whoever else does a security testing, and they discover some vulnerabilities. Don't stop at the vulnerability. Think what are the risks, what are the business risks they pose to your application. How much customer could steal from you? What are the, or could it be money, or could it be just information, or could it be just very bad PR, or anything? Do a comprehensive testing, yes. Let me quote that thing again. Once an organization acknowledges, they apply more sophisticated risk assessment and mitigation tools. What do I think that more sophisticated risk assessment could be? More comprehensive testing. What could be more comprehensive testing? Don't just say we want the standard security testing to be executed on our application. Maybe we want to do more than just standard security. Oh, maybe we don't want. Maybe we just want compliance testing, just to show a paper that, well, this is a paper signed by Ainārs that this application have been tested and there are no more bugs I could find in that application. If everything I need is a paper signed by some security experts, that's fine. If your goal is security, do something more than that. Developer testing. Do developer testing, do another testing. So two cheeses with holes in that will overlap and you will discover more bugs. XSS intrusion, example. There are well-known defense against XSS. It's just, we could just simply not allow users to input any special characters into any input fields. That would protect us against XSS. We could allow them, but then do not execute scripts. That's another way. Well, if you need the special characters, if you need the user to be able to write and or write 5 less than 6 means it's special character for HTML. So then you need that in another way. But why don't we do the third thing? We do allow them, we do execute the script, but we do what security specialists call honeypot approach. We just do that in isolated. The moment we see that script executes, we put it in a vault, and we make attacker think that he have hacked us, but actually he haven't hacked us because that script will execute only on his computer, but not on any victim's computer. And while he thinks so and makes plans to attack us, we catch him. So, returning to Gartner. His top 10 strategic technology trends for 2015, which was published a year ago from now, says that they are talking about risk assessment, mitigations, and they are talking about multifaceted approaches. They say it's not enough to do one thing. It's not enough to do just monitoring, just testing, just educating your users, or doing incident analysis. You need to do a lot of things. So think about your organization, how your organization in this year added another facet to your security strategy. How you started to do something more, not just deeper, but doing more than you have done previously, more different things. If you haven't added any yet, or you don't plan to add more. Maybe Gartner is wrong. I don't know if they are right or if they are wrong, but yes, so maybe they are wrong, but I really hope that they are right, or they are probably a little bit ahead of of what's happening. And I really hope to see in future that this will become a trend, that testing will no more be the only thing that at least government and state requires to be done to ensure the security of applications hosted by them. Not to mention the private sector.
Thank you. Questions? Yeah.
I want to talk about penalties. You say that there is a penalty. So you suggest that if a security firm who do the testing and miss some bugs, there are like legal penalties for that?
Exactly. Thank you very much for this question. I've skipped these penalties for missed security threats. The idea was that we hired two different security testers to different companies, to different auditors to do the security testing of the same application at the same time. And they don't share the discoveries. Well, maybe this organization will find 10 security issues, and this one will find 11. Or this one finds 10, and this one finds also 10. But two of those are not on that list, and two of those are not on that list, which would be very good for us, because we will find 12 of them altogether. And we could probably do some penalties for those two not discovered by the other one, but that's actually is industrial, as I mentioned here, there are some industrially accepted and as well as my own new and crazy ideas. This is my crazy idea. I don't recommend this because that could cause a lot of political issues, because at least in Latvia, companies knew each other, they could start to do some deals between each other, etc. And of course, it's twice, yes, twice it's twice as expensive, yes.
But actually, the comment is that you could do it, and the best one could win some future contract.
Right, the payoff is good, yes.
Here's one. Are there any recommendations, like for public available documents that could be well documented, how to treat systems during test, like test procedures? You mentioned there PCI, and then are there any available resources or?
Well, first of all, for any resources you need on security testing of web application, go to OWASP. You will find amazingly a lot of information. Well, the hardest thing is to find the right document, because there are so much of it. I was very much surprised when I found that they provide you to download web applications that have a lot of security issues in that, especially designed for developers to learn those issues and how they are made into the code. And you could use that application. They could even show you how to fix those problems at the code level. And that's for free for downloading. Just go to OWASP, and I'm sure you will find everything you need to find. Well, probably it will be hard to find, but there is everything you may need. That's my impression about OWASP. My comment on treating environments from my experience is be careful about DOS attacks. When I was trying to test a DOS attack on an application I've been doing in our functional test environment on Friday afternoon, And well, basically all the functional testers had 4 hours of like doing nothing because the environment was dead, and they were spending 4 hours at Friday and 4 more the next Monday to fix that problem, because it appeared it's not enough to just reboot everything. I damaged it somehow so hardly that it took a lot of effort to just fix that environment, and that was one environment. So never do DOS attack on an environment you use for other purposes like performance testing, functional testing, anything else.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ainārs. Small gift from our side.